Hello. Hey, for this video I'm going to go through a little bit how I set up my healers. I haven't had a lot of chance to do much raid healing, just some Mythic Plus healing. But I did get into a raid. I was doing okay, so I thought I'd go through a little bit how I set things up, see if there's anything here that'll help folks out there trying to learn how to heal. I heal on Resto, Shaman, and Monk. I think the Shaman might be something I'm a little more used to. I'm going to go through action bars first a little bit. So I do use a Razor Naga with the 12 buttons on the side. So this block here is my first action bar, and if we as basically 1 through 12. So if you got a little different setup, you could set up your buttons or your bars horizontally too. Doesn't matter too much. Here is a second action bar's worth of buttons I'll get by hitting shift, and then I get another 12 buttons. Now this block here on the left, I do use WASD to move around, so these are all buttons around, so Q, E, F for occasional stuff, but I don't use that much. And then my major cooldowns I put on Z, X, and C, because they're right there, easy to hit. Okay, so on the right side is a little different. This is all mouse wheel, actually, so mouse wheel up, mouse button, and mouse wheel down, and then shift will get me another 3. And the way I use that here's a healing dummy. So as you can see, by default that's lightning bolt, flame shock, and all that. So if I got a target here, right, I can just do mouse wheel down, get my flame shock on. But if I hover over a friendly target, we're getting Riptide and Healing Surge. So now I can Riptide that. So when you're playing in a raid, then it's very easy to have a target like this, keep your flame shock up, but then go over to your raid frames, or even hover over somebody and also apply healing spells with the same button, or healing surge. Then I'll come off of that and shoot my lightning bolt. And the way this is set up is with macros. Let's see. And they're very simple macros, so you're just going to use, if you got a mouse over with some conditionals, you'll get a Riptide. And as you can see, I hover over that, and my spell there will change to Riptide. And then if I'm not on top of a friendly raid frame or player, then it'll be a Flame Shock. So those are very handy macros, so all of my spells here on the mouse wheel are bound to either a damaging spell or a healing spell. And since Shaman have a lot of spells, I find that works out pretty well. Now in Heal on the Monk, there's not quite as much need for those macros, because monks have a few less buttons to press, but it's the same thinking. It's all still off a mouse wheel for all the major stuff. Okay, so then let's take a look at how I set up my frames. So my healers are set up just a little different than the DPS. My own frame is tucked a little more in, and then target frame is tucked a little more in, as opposed to the DPS. And I'm talking into the center. And then I bring all my frames close there too, because what you're doing a lot when you're healing is you're focusing on whoever you're healing, and then you got to have your own health up too, but at the same time you got to be able to watch your feet. So the closer you get those things together, the better you're going to do at staying alive and then still healing everybody effectively. Alright, and then last thing to note here maybe is this right here is actually just a Blizzard action bar that I reconfigured, so it's not a straight bar, it's more a chunk. But what I keep up here is my different spells. Now those are not for clicking, right? But when you're healing people, you want Riptide to be on cooldown pretty much all the time, right? And so you're sitting here healing people with on your party frames or raid frames, and right here is your cooldown for that. Same with your surging totem, your healing stream, your interrupts. All that information is going to be right there, so that you know when things are back up off of cooldown. And that's a pretty effective way. I mean, if you're sitting here healing, watching your feet, there's fire coming up everywhere, or things to dodge a Mythic Plus, you can't really afford to be staring down here. And you don't want to move this whole block of stuff up here either, because some of this stuff is not essential for you to have cooldown information all the time, right? So I just put the important stuff up here, right next to the party frames that I'm staring at, and then also right next to here where I'm standing, so I can make sure I'm not going to die on anything. Alright, so that's the basics of how I set up. You got mouse over macros. I do use mouse wheel. If you get used to it, it's pretty effective on almost every tune, because you can put your main spells on there, right? The ones you're doing all the time. It's very, very simple. Like I said, just a mouse wheel down gets you that Riptide, and then we go over here, throw up a Flame Shock, and same thing, just a mouse wheel down, very easy motion. So that's pretty good stuff. Okay, so that's a UI setup. Take a look at talents. So I do run Totemic. This is Mythic Plus spec, rating spec, just a little bit different, but these are pretty much straight out of Wowhead. The only thing I think that I'm different is I'm not running Cloudburst this time around. I try to get a lot of my healing out of the healing stream totem. So okay, so let's exit this, and let's go ahead and take a look. So this is a just a normal boss. This isn't a pug, and we're doing one-arm bandit. And I'm going to walk through kind of how I set up for the raid healing here. So you can already see I've got all my raid frames right there. Oh, I forgot. I do have a weak aura. You can find it on Wago, but it keeps track of your shields, and that's pretty handy. Though my raid spec does have the non-charged earth shield, so I guess I don't have to worry about that too much. Now let's take a look at this kill. So we have pull start. What I'm going to do is drop my surging totem right on the mass of people. And I'm working Riptides out. What you will notice is I'm going to lean on healing stream a lot, so when I see damage, my first response will probably be to pop out the healing surge. Or I'm sorry, healing stream. So I'm watching pretty carefully for damage coming out. You can see my mouse cursor hovering over everyone. When I see a little more damage there, use your Unleash Life, and then you can start rolling chain heals. Had some pretty good damage coming out there, so I know a lot of Shaman push pretty hard on their chain heal the whole time, which is, I don't find chain heal to be as effective as it used to be. So it's still going to be my top heal, but we want to make sure that we're using it when there's multiple people that need to get pushed, and we're going to want to make sure Unleash Life is used with that chain heal as well. Otherwise, as you can see, I'm mostly keeping Riptides up, definitely using Surging Totems every time they come off a cooldown, and Healing Stream Totems too. Pretty good damage coming out from those guys, so that's where I drop my Spirit Link. So definitely on this particular pull, I was being a little more conservative. Of course, if you want to try to push up your healing, you can use chain heal a little more, but you're going to run out of mana fast if you do that. So I just dropped Healing Tide. Now it's the second time in this fight because I dropped it early. I tend to like to drop those cooldowns for most of these raid fights kind of early in the fight because you're going to get a chance to use them a second time. But you can kind of see, so where I put the raid frames is off to the side, so I can still see them pretty clearly. Do some heals. But have the center of my screen still clear so I can see what I'm doing. I don't use at cursor for the surging totem because I want to make sure it hits where I want it to. And then, yeah, mostly we're doing a lot of Riptides. Use Unleash Life with your chain heal, and then keep that healing stream totem ready to go. I mean, I don't just drop it on cooldown per se, because every time you drop it, it's throwing out that free chain heal, right? So you kind of watch where a couple people have taken some damage, and that's the best time to drop that. But you always want to have one down, right? You should never not have one down. So if you're sitting on 2 charges, drop one. But that second one, you can kind of wait a little bit and see if somebody's taking some damage. And then, of course, use your Healing Tide kind of early if you can, when the first bigger burst of damage comes out. And then you'll have it up again for later in the fight, because there's always more damage near the end of all of these boss fights too. So I'm going to post up the logs to this particular kill so you can see the breakdown of the spells I cast, or maybe we can take a look at that right now. That'll take about a second to look up, I think. I should have had this pulled up already, but that's okay. We'll look up my Shaman here. Oh, I guess there are more Taaras than I thought. As you can see, I've only done normal so far. Of course, you're doing heroic on the mage, but I haven't had to heal that, so see if I can find that one-armed bandit fight. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's it. So we take a look at my healing breakdown. I'll go ahead and enlarge that. So chain heal, even though I cast relatively few of those, they're more effective, right? Because you got Unleash Life going, and you're not just throwing out chain heals at random. That's what you're going to lean into when bigger damage is going out on multiple people. Healing Rain with that Surging Totem. And I don't know that we saw it too clearly in that one-armed bandit fight, but you can move, of course, with Totemic Protection, move that Surging Totem around. And certainly in Mythic Plus, we're doing a lot of that. But one trick that I like to do is to throw that. Let's say I'm standing at ranged and I see some ranged people are taking some damage. I'll drop that Surging Totem under us and then use the downpour to give us that bump of healing. And then I'm going to go move that back under the tank melee group, so that the rest of the healing that it's going to be putting out is going to them. So that gives a little bump back up for the people at range that are taking damage. But then you're getting it where you know there's going to be a lot of incoming damage on the tank, right? Our 4-piece certainly does a pretty good amount of healing. Healing Stream Totem, you see, is a pretty good chunk of my stuff. And then Healing Tide, you drop it on that first kind of big spike of damage it's hitting everybody, and then you're going to get it back again, because in every raid fight there's going to be heavy AoE damage coming out later in the fight too. And then Riptides, keep those going out, so probably should have had more Riptides, but that's okay. And then use your Earthen Wall Totem, helps mitigate some of the damage. Yeah, so that is that fight. And let's take a look at this Styx fight here. And I should be doing pretty similar. Huh. That's odd. Oh, so the breakdown is very, very similar here, right? So chain heal. So chain heal is going out about the same as Riptide. So maybe that's about right. Maybe I'm hitting those Riptides fairly close to on cooldown, as they should be. I think I had to lean into, was this sticks? Yeah, sticks. So a lot of AoE damage coming out there, so I probably leaned into chain heal a little more. Healing rain from that surging totem is still going to be a strong part of the healing I do. And healing stream totem. It's not just dumping them both out all the time. Always keep one down, but then the second one, when you see that a few people taking damage, that's a great time to throw that because of that free chain heal there. And it's very mana efficient, right? Mana is a big trouble for Resto Shamans. If you're just pumping out nothing but chain heal, right, you're going to run into trouble on most of these fights. And that includes Mythic Plus, too. If that's how you're, by default, healing in Mythic Plus is, oh, somebody took damage, I'm going to hit a chain heal, and that's going to heal other people in case they get hurt, too. Well, that's mana inefficient. So it's better just to rip a healing surge into them. You're going to get more healing on that person that's hurt. And sure, you're not going to get that bounce, but I think it works out better, especially if you're talented for master elements. So anyway, that's a little bit on how I heal with the Resto Shaman, and a little, I guess, walk through the logs here, which I didn't plan on doing, but it is good to see how the healing breaks down. So I will post up, well, you know what, I'm going to post up a link to this, so if you did want to go back and look at some of the different fights I done, and like I said, this is just normal, and normal's pretty easy, but if you want to take a look at the healing breakdown I did on most of these fights, you can go back and look at the log. So I'll post up a link to this right here. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped out, or maybe just gave some ideas even to anybody that's looking to heal in the raids, and is looking to get a little better. How can I improve? There's always different ways to improve on healing, so it's good to get input from different sources. Thanks again, and I will catch you guys on the next one.